Well, here we are at lesson 3, the one you've all been waiting for, on sex and sexualities, or sex in your social life. The big question always seems to be, how long can I have sex? But maybe it's, when do I need to stop having sex? The answer, of course, is you don't ever have to stop. By the way, my comments in this lesson will apply to both men and women, and to any combination of relationships. In a human development class once, when the module on older adults came up, I asked the question about how long we could have sex. One young woman in the back raised her hand and tentatively said, maybe 40? Although I wanted to laugh, nobody else in the class laughed. Why? Because most people associate sexual activity with only the young people, certainly not someone older than 60. Perhaps it isn't even feasible to think someone could have sex at 40. So that stereotype keeps a lot of older people from enjoying sex as long as they physically are able. I think it's time to destroy that stereotype. So I'll begin this lesson by repeating my answer to the original big question, which was, how long can I have sex? And my answer is the same, as long as you want to. There's a lot more to say about it, of course, and I'll get around to that. But you need to remember that as long as you're alive, having sex is always an option. When you're older, sexual activity may not look quite like it does when you're 18 or 21. The fact is, it can even be better. And again, we'll get into that just a little bit. Although I found many quotes about older people and sex, one of the best articles that I found covers almost every aspect of sex that you could think of. It's found in an online magazine called Mel Magazine, and I have the link here. So if you get a chance, read it or save it for later. It'll cover a lot of things that I don't get to cover this time. Because I've taught human sexuality to various groups, including college, ever since the early 60s, I've accumulated many articles and jokes about the topic of sexuality. And in this lesson, I've attached a document with a few more quotes that I haven't used yet, but so if you want, you can look through those and laugh, maybe. There are always questions, and I will try to answer them as genuinely as possible. Some of you may remember Dr. Ruth, or at least heard of her. She was an elderly therapist who was as honest and irreverent about sex as anybody I ever knew. And maybe my next course should be on sexuality rather than just this one lesson in this course. And then maybe I can become famous like Dr. Ruth, also I'll be Dr. Lucy. If an more in-depth course about sex or sexuality interests you, please let me know, and I can arrange that. In the meantime, I'm trying to condense that topic, that broad topic, into one lesson this time, and hopefully leave you with craving for more. When I was a campus minister at the University of Arizona, I taught a course for my group of Wesley Foundation students on sex and spirituality. For one of the sessions, I invited several people from the community to come and talk to the students. These were people that I knew who had physical disabilities. All the guests were in a wheelchair for various physical reasons. So one of the students during the Q&A period said, well, how do you do it? And the answer from one woman was, any way you can. That answer works for our original big question. For the most part, as we get older, we still get turned on. We still want to have sex, and we're still very much interested in sex. But not all of our body parts are ready when we are. I'm going to say this right up front. Use it or lose it. Some women say they lose interest in sex after menopause, or after a hysterectomy, which we call a surgical menopause. But that could simply be an excuse. Not all women agree with that, and in fact, many I talked to said that it freed them up to have more sex more often, because they don't have to worry about getting pregnant anymore. So if you've enjoyed a full sexual life before menopause, chances are you can enjoy sex as much or more afterward. When women don't have sex on a fairly regular basis, they literally can dry up. A dry vagina can mean painful intercourse. Some of the drying occurs naturally with age, but there are plenty of ways to keep yourself moist and ready for sex. If you have extreme pain during intercourse, please get it checked out by a physician, because you may discover that something's wrong that you didn't have any idea about. Men may or may not have a problem achieving or maintaining a healthy erection as they get older. This can happen sooner than you wish, or it could be later, and there are remedies available to help out with that. A man's health is closely related to his sexual ability and or his stamina. The brain that says, "I want to," cannot easily overcome a body that says, "I just can't." For both men and women, too much alcohol is certainly one way that desire or an erection can fail you. An unhealthy diet can also have a negative effect. Often obesity interferes with someone's ability or their desire. So exercise can help you to stay virile and can be a turn-on. Eons ago, I took a belly dancing class. I took lessons. It was great exercise. And I found myself getting turned on after every session. How we take care of ourselves is important. We may feel like we're no longer attractive to our partner, but deep love and affection will overlook every single wrinkle or bulge. On the other hand, we can keep ourselves attractive through a good shower and shampoo, or a clean and attractive outfit, flirtatious teasing, and always a big, welcoming smile. Masturbation still works, and I highly recommend it. Often it can help you learn just what feels good, especially if you have difficulty in achieving an orgasm. If you have a partner, please don't get shy on him or her, but tell them what feels good and what you need. Most partners are sort of feeling around in the dark, so to speak. You don't stop playing because you grow old. You grow old because you stop playing. And that old saying is certainly appropriate here. So I would invite you to experiment. Try new things. Read a sex manual together. Watch porn together. Go to a nude beach. Make suggestions. Above all, make fun times together a priority. Work and other obligations can keep you from taking critical times away. So take a walk together without the children or pets. This isn't a time for dog walking. To discuss any problems that you're having or just to stay in touch. And remember, a soft on can be sexier than a hard on. Hui ho.